almost 99% of professional athletes have played multi-sports and and don't end up focusing on their chosen sport until either college or late high school or college. I think it's a pretty good case that most of these kids should have some type of down period or a change in routine and play another sport just because they develop skills in those other sports that will help their primary sport. And I think it's been proven over and over again that this happens. I know it's also difficult though for parents who are making this decision. You want to keep obviously utilizing resources that get them better at what you think that their chosen sport's going to be. So it's a dilemma, but I mean, I think it's one to keep in mind that especially for kids in middle school, those important years of, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, kids should be getting as wide a, palette or a buffet of sports as they want to play, and they should be switching because, again, any athletic endeavor, I mean, I don't care if they're not really the best baseball player or lacrosse player or soccer player. If they build skills there, it's going to make them better at tennis, better at football, or whatever their chosen sport is. The question is there a higher rate of injury for a single sport athlete that's focusing just on their primary sport versus a multi-sport athlete? And I think there's a couple of questions that you have to ask yourself, or a couple of considerations that one has to have. First, what's the support system like? If you're a one sport athlete, do you have a physio? Do you have a physical therapist? Do you have a chiropractor? Do you have somebody that's managing the recovery? What's the training program like? Who's in charge of the training program? Because that's going to influence just injury in general. The second question is like, when do we start focusing on the one sport? Should we just focus on that sport? And do they have a higher rate of incidence if they just play that one sport? I do think that, I think your likelihood of an overuse injury, if you're not cycling for a down period and recovering, then I think you're, especially in a young athlete, again, not fully developed. They are not adults. Their bodies do not respond like adults. They generally recover quicker because they're children, but if you keep stressing an underdeveloped or immature body the same way all the time, then yes, I mean, I think you have the likelihood of having some type of injury that's going to take them out for a while. If you cycle them off that sport, even for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, they're going to then have a rebound or a bounce back effect where they're going to remember how much, like why they're doing that sport in the first place. They're going to miss it. Like, you can't miss something that you're doing every day. Obviously, training is important. Obviously, the Malcolm Gladwell followers out there, 10,000 hours to become an expert in something, it's repetitive. There's a lot more to that than just 10,000 hours. So I think we have to focus in on, obviously the long-term health of the athlete in being able to do their sport and not getting too far ahead of ourselves in terms of where we are in that training cycle. College coaches love a well-rounded athlete. They just do. I mean, it's not a detriment to them that a kid might be taking a season off and playing a different sport. They know the talent. So yeah, I would say for a lot of athletes, focusing on one sport without given the proper, if they're not given the proper long-term treatment or schedules or training schedules, they will probably either suffer burnout or an injury that's going to take them out of their sport for a while.